Hello, welcome to GeoKnow. If you're new to this channel, I deal in all things geologically related. If you're interested in seeing interviews with professionals in geology, explorational and rock hounding videos, and a lot of other instructional videos just like this one, please consider subscribing. Today I'm going to show you how to make sense of contours using a quadrinail board of death. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that, but first, let me just say that since contour maps represent 3 dimensions on a 2D surface, usually a piece of paper, it can be hard to visualize if you don't have a lot of practice. So I hope this video will help you get a jump start in reading contour or topographic maps. Alright, let's start off by getting familiarized with the map that we're going to use today. So this is a map just on the coast of the Pacific Ocean somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. We have 4 rivers on the map. We have Pink Creek, Green River, Red Creek, and Brown Creek. We have Black Hill, Gray Hill, and Cow Hill, and kind of a little sub-hill between Black Hill and Gray Hill. So some of the things that I want you to look for as we do this activity today are figure out why are contours pointing upstream when they cross the river. That's one thing. Also, why are the circles getting smaller as you're going uphill? Another thing I want to point out here is just that we're starting at 0 feet in elevation because that's where the ocean by definition is, right? At sea level is 0 feet above sea level. And then 10 feet, 20 feet, and we go all the way up to 60 feet, which is the maximum. So in the exercise today, I'm going to be using 6 different sheets, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. And it's going to represent each level of elevation. So one for 10 feet all the way up to 60 feet. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what I've done here is labeled 6 individual transparencies. And let me know in the comments below if you're actually old enough to have a teacher that used transparencies. I do happen to remember that. So the way that I've labeled the transparencies is I have 6 of them. So for every 10 feet of elevation, 10 to 60, like I showed you before on the map. So what I'm doing here is just lining up the transparencies with the map so I can trace the individual contours. On my transparency label 10, I'm only going to trace the 10-foot contour and then do the same with the other transparencies as I go. And it's important that you line up each transparency the same way each time with the map so there is consistency once we transfer the clear sheets to the quadrinail board of death over there. Now let me speed this up for you a little bit so you don't fall asleep on me. Now that I have all the contours traced on their respective transparencies, I'm going to stack them on the board of death. So I'm going to start with 10 on the bottom since it's the lowest elevation, and then I'm going to work my way up to 60, and I'm going to space each transparency 2 nuts apart. So I've threaded some nuts on these rods. So there's going to be 2 nuts between each elevation point. So 2 nuts is going to represent 10 feet of vertical increase. So when you see the transparencies vertically stacked on top of each other, I'm hoping you'll be able to visualize how these 2-dimensional contours really represent 3 dimensions. Now optionally for this, you could use nails if you could find a nail that's long enough and big enough. I think that's actually a better alternative than what I've used because you'll save a lot of time not having to thread every single nut, and you'd just be able to use beads as spacers instead and just slide them on and off. So that's another option if you can find nails that long. As we get in and take a closer look, those contours should be popping out at you, and you should be able to see how those 2-dimensional lines drawn on a piece of paper can represent 3 dimensions. Also, notice how the V-shapes represent ravines where rivers would flow, and they point uphill or upstream. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you dive into the wide world of contours.